All right, everybody. Reggie Edwards, the Front Row Report. We are in the legendary Surf Ballroom in Clear Lake, Iowa. I am honored to be here tonight with Todd from Queensryche. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, man. How,
Good.
how, how you feeling, man? We're in the legendary Surf Ballroom. A lot of history here. How you feeling?
I feel good. It's cold here.
Yes, it is.
You know,
Yes.
I'm from Florida where it's hot and humid, so this is it's always a challenge to singers, especially when you're in all these extreme climates and whatnot. But I feel good today, and the band is sounding good and playing good. Um, it's my first time here actually, and learning about all the history that this place has. It's really an honor to play on the same stage that so many great people have played on.
To play in a venue with such a rich history, it's got to be humbling
Sure.
to play on a stage that has such a history like this one does. Everything connected to it.
It does. This place is, for those that are listening to this interview, if they've never been here, it's set up kind of like a museum, and they have memorabilia everywhere. Stuff from Richie Valens and Buddy Holly and so many legendary pioneering musicians back from the 50s and probably older. But it's definitely a humbling thing. You have to step back and absorb it and say, wow, some of the greatest people have played on this very stage in this facility, and it's really cool.
Yeah, they got the back room has all the memorabilia from people that have played
Yeah.
Slash, ZZ Top.
Oh yeah.
Everybody. This is my first time here too, and it's
It's neat.
It's awesome. I like
is.
it.
It's cool.
Moving on, you're finishing up support for the self-titled record that came out not too long ago, about a year and a half ago, year ago or so, which was the Century Media debut of Queensryche as well. Looking back on making that record and creating it, what really sticks out to you the most, kind of about where the band was and just writing, recording, and getting ready to do that record?
There are so many specifics that I can't recall off the top of my head, but, overall, just being able to collaborate with everyone in the band equally and everyone being able to contribute any idea, whether it was a melody or a lyric or, you know, me being able to offer drumming ideas and guitar ideas, and it was just everyone lending their input, outside of their own instrument. And so it really was a very real, not forced body of work. So that's what sticks out to me, was really a way for us to gel, as a band in a creative aspect.
There's not a lot of bands out there where it's a true collaboration. A lot of bands, especially bands that have been around for 20, 30 years, a lot of the members have a set thing in mind that this is the way I want my part to be.
Sure.
They're kind of set in that. So it's really cool to hear that a band, as prolific as Queensryche really does work together to create something. And I think the final product really shows that as well.
Thank you.
It's very... Honestly, I think one of the better releases Queensryche has had in some time, and I think that really shows through on it.
Thanks. They have a distinct style of playing, and the way that the chords that they use and the tones that they use, they were open to, different ideas, but certainly their playing style was reflected on that record. There were no outside writers on this, and nobody was so set in their ways that, they weren't willing to bend on other ideas.
Awesome. What kind of led to the self-titled name? Because a lot of bands do, the self-titled thing and different reasons. What really, in a lot of ways led to naming it just Queensryche?
Well, we were tossing around different album titles, and then the band and management talked about, they felt like this was a rebirth for them, and when they started, their first album was self-titled. So it was kind of that same sentiment that made a very simple but powerful statement, which is saying, hey, we're Queensryche. You know, I mean, there was the other version of Queensryche with an album and an album title, and we just thought, you know what, we're just going to call the album Queensryche because that's what we are, and there's no point in trying to oversell something. It was just very simple and to the point, and so that's why we did that.
And this album truly is Queensryche. In every way, it's what Queensryche is all about. And for a lot of fans out there, this is the Queensryche.
That seems to be the majority, feeling.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way, looking outside of the fact that I was on the record.
Right.
To me, those sounds that were very indicative of Queensryche sound are present once again. So.
Yeah, and the whole, the two versions been talked about to death, and all that. So we're not going to go into that because if people want to hear about it, they can find it everywhere. So, but what better label to release it on than Century Media with such a rich metal history and metal roster? It's one of the last real true metal labels out there, I think, and it's a great label. There's a lot of great bands
a lot of the labels have folded. You have a lot of independent labels, and Century Media has great distribution. They've got, like you said, a predominant, their roster is pretty metal and rock and hard rock and metal. And so, Queensryche has never been the heaviest band, but certainly, we like to be in that genre with a label that believes in what we're doing and really kind of pushing, standing behind us.
They let you do pretty much what you feel is right for the record too.
Yeah, I mean, these guys have been playing together for 30 years, so they've proven themselves as songwriters and obviously seasoned veterans.
Yeah.
So there really wasn't. I mean, we showed them the demos and they loved them. They never said change this. They never even tried to get into that. They believed in what they heard, and it was really pretty simple.
Right. Now you guys, I was on the Facebook page and social media a lot this week, looking at Queensryche. You guys are very active with your fans and interactive on social media. And not enough bands are, I think.
I would agree.
How important is it to you guys to really keep in touch with your fans and be interactive with them and keep them up to date? This is everything we're doing right now. This is,
I think it's really important. I think that some people probably lean towards the mentality of, they want that mystery to where they're not so accessible. But because of the lack of album sales and you're relying on touring and merchandise sales, there has to be a connection. And interacting with fans, and they know that they were heard, really resonates with people. And we do it because we're able to do it. We like to do it, but that didn't exist 20 years ago.
Right.
And so we read the posts, we read those comments, and some people never interact. I interact a lot, and it's really helped me. I'm not doing it for that reason, but I think that if someone connects with you, even if it's something so simple as liking their comment or answering them back, they're getting an insight to you as a person, and that really matters.
It does.
Because if you have a great voice or you play great guitar or whatever, but there's not that personal connection, there's only so far that will go. If people think, I wasn't going to go, but maybe they really enjoyed the little dialogue or something on Facebook, for example, and then they go, that he was really cool. I want to go check him out.
Yeah, exactly.
That can be a slight difference, and I think that at the end of the day, Ronnie James Dio was always known for being that kind of guy, and I want to be that kind of guy. So that's why, I'm very thankful of the support of the fans, and if it's a very small way of kind of giving back, But yeah, I do think it's important. Not enough bands do it.
Yeah.
A lot of them do it now, though, because
Yeah.
they know that it's important, but not enough do it.
It's those little things that go a long way, especially with a fan base.
Exactly.
It's those little things that will lean a fan towards going to check the band out live,
Sure.
and spending that money to get the album,
Yep.
or checking you out.
Yep.
It could make somebody's day and make their whole life just to say, I talked with
Sure.
my favorite band.
I mean, if I could have gotten a response or some, from Bruce Dickinson when I was, a kid, it would have been huge,
Exactly.
And so, not that I'm Bruce Dickinson, but in some capacity, I'm sure that there are aspiring vocalists or just people that, feel happy to be able to correspond with the guys in the band, and so it'll be a lasting thing for them. They remember.
Awesome. Now, the last thing, I saw one of your posts on the Facebook page. You guys are working on some new music right now.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a picture of you guys. Are you recording right now, or where are you guys at in the?
Well, I was in Seattle for 2 weeks, and we did rehearsals for some newer songs from the album, and some older Queensryche songs that I never did with the band that we've incorporated into the set. And so while I was out there, we did rehearsals, and then we did songwriting. So the recordings that were done were for demo stuff, not for the real thing. So we're still writing songs and going through pre-production and that sort of thing. I don't have a time to be able to say when a new album will be out because I don't know yet. But it's something that we're really aggressively working on.
The last thing you want to do is, this early in the process, say, oh, it'll be out around October, because then everyone's going to be like, it's going to be a blabbermouth and everything.
Yeah, it's too early in the. No. I mean, we've got a nice handful of songs, and a lot of ideas. I think the last count we were at was, I don't know, 13 or 15 songs. Some of them were pretty much complete. Others were halfway. Some of them were just ideas that we can build on. So all of us are individually doing that and then bringing them all into the pool and saying, okay, this is what I came up with this week and whatever.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Todd, thank you so much for taking time tonight.
My pleasure,
It's been an honor and a pleasure, and we're looking forward to seeing the show.